Hey guys, it's Eric
And Jen.
from East Texas Homestead, and we're going to give you 10 reasons why we homeschool and 5 practical tips on how we do it. Is this it? Okay.
We were asked by the Texas boys to join their collaboration on homeschooling.
Be sure to go ahead and check out all the other channels that have done some really great collaboration videos on homeschooling and their 10 reasons, and those will be in the playlist here. We're going to be here all night.
Stick around to the end because we're going to give you 5 bonus reasons on why we homeschool.
Number 1, desks.
How long can you sit still? Not very long. Neither can little kids. All right, number 2, non-stop investigations and creative play. Giving them time to play at home and doing train track or Legos or being outside investigating. You give them all the time that they have, and you don't have to stop them and say, all right, so time to change subjects, or it's time to go to lunch. We can alter our schedules depending on that. So number 3, flexibility with our days and learning environment. That means if we are studying something about space, the boys are interested in space, we can read a book, then we can take a trip to the planetarium that we have in our town and make a field trip and do it spontaneously and not have to worry about staying on a strict schedule or routine.
Number 4 is going to be biblical-based learning. It's no secret that government schools have a godless agenda. I'm not saying that they're trying to create atheists overtly, but the fact that they stripped prayer from school, they don't allow teachers to talk about God in any way, shape, or form. The fact that evolution is pushed and there's no even two-sided debate about intelligent design. It's, let alone the fact that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and it was a literal 7 days. That's what we believe. And I think there's actually a lot of science that can back that up, believe it or not. But we like to be able to teach our kids. So we've got 10 different versions of these little Bibles, and from different authors, and each one has different stories from the Bible in it. And the kids love learning through this, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. Okay, so that brings us to number 5. Character is absolutely essential in life. You can have all the knowledge that the government school system can give you, but if you don't come out with character after your 12 years in there, then it's all for naught. And so we want to focus on building character in our kids, and if they want to learn something after they're out of the house, or having their real job, whatever it is, even if they learn nothing but how to read here in our house, if they leave here with character, good character, we will have done a good job. And anything they want to learn, they'll be able to learn that.
All right, number 6 is no set curriculum. I can pull lessons from various resources, or we can go outside and learn about different kinds of plants and flowers and leaves. And this is the benefit of not having a set curriculum on this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. We can just blend it all together within our day and our lifestyle. All right, number 7 is individualized learning. Schools say they do this, and I've worked in a public school and a private school as a teacher, and we tried. Like, honestly, teachers try their best to individualize instruction to certain kids to meet their needs, whether that's learning disabilities or these kids that just kind of shut down on you and you don't know what to do. The schools they can't. There's too many kids to 1 or 2 teachers. So the great thing about being homeschooled is that I get to meet the needs of the boys where they are and grow with them on their journey of learning and teaching them what they want to know and how they want to know it.
Number 8 is sleep. One of the best things about homeschooling, at least from a kid's perspective, is not having to wake up early to get on the bus or to get to school, to sit in traffic, whatever it is, but wake up cranky and have to be force-fed breakfast when you're not hungry and go through that whole process every single morning. Our boys, they wake up when they want to wake up, and then we will move on with the day. In general, they get the sleep that their bodies need.
Number 9 is no test pressure. These kids that are in public school and even private school have all the testing that they have to go through. And some kids, kid you not, one kid I taught tried to pull their hair out of their head. So our kids have no test pressure. They get to learn what they need to know and how they're going to be prepared in life and learn those skills that they need.
That's right. Just because you can get a good grade on the test doesn't mean you actually understand and comprehend what you tested on. You can get a really good grade, but then a week later forget it because it's not practical to you. It's not something that actually means anything to you as a person.
Right. And these testing that they do, some kids can't go to the next grade level because they can't pass this test. A lot of this stuff on the test has nothing to do with going to the next grade. It's questions that are ridiculous.
Okay, number 10, and this one is definitely going to be unique to us and not necessarily the majority of people, but it is having an allergy-safe environment. One of the big factors that played into us making the decision to homeschool was the fact that Buddy, our oldest, ended up having food allergies that are life-threatening to egg, dairy, and peanuts. Dude ended up having the same plus wheat, and you would not believe, unless you actually struggle with this and read labels like we do, how many things end up having any of those contaminants in them, or the possibility. It just makes us very uneasy putting them into childcare or into a government school system or any other place where we're relying on someone else to feed them, because one bite of yogurt sent him to the ER the first time. One sip of a smoothie that didn't have dairy in it sent him to the ER the second time and nearly killed him both times. Just tonight, we were eating at my parents' house, and we had a can of black pepper it was just black pepper. That's all it should be. And before putting it on our food, I actually read the side of it, and it said may contain eggs, dairy, and soy. Why would black pepper need to have egg, dairy, or soy in it? It's absolutely ridiculous. So that played a major role in our decision to keep our boys safe and outside of relying on someone else to take care of them in that environment.
Yeah, and this is when I also made the decision to stop teaching in the public school system and to start teaching our own kids, just to keep them safe.
So now we're going to transition into 5 ways we homeschool.
All right, number 1, we're teaching with life. So as we are sitting at the table for dinner and we're eating pizza, we talk about how many different pizza slices we have, and we make that into a fraction lesson. The other thing we did was on a trip not long ago, Buddy, Dude, and I were going to the Discovery Science place, and we were counting stop signs at different intersections, and we found out that one intersection had 5, one had 4, and Buddy's like, hey, 5 plus 4 is 9. So we're teaching them with life as we're moving in it.
That's right. And now you can say both of those things, dinner and being in the car, can happen on your way to the government school. That's true. But these are the types of things that happen all day long, even as something as simple as what time is it, and having your 3-year-old look up at the clock and try to figure it out, and your 5-year-old help them along and tell them exactly what time it is. And then you can talk about the numbers and reinforce those, and it's something that happens all day long. Resource number 2. We end up using the internet as a huge resource. We don't rely on it, and our kids don't spend a whole lot of time in front of the screen, but when they do, we actually try to make it count. We utilize sites like abcmouse.com. We'll have a link in the description, or you can just go to abcmouse.com. Right Now Media is one that our church has provided, and they have a ton of awesome videos that are biblical and educational at the same time. We utilize YouTube. YouTube Kids has a bunch of phenomenal just counting and spelling videos that the boys love. And then things like watching other kids build train tracks and then getting inspiration, and the boys want to go. Buddy loves trying to make these complex triple-decker tracks and stacking blocks and just creative play. It all builds into a well-rounded individual as they grow up.
Yeah. Now I will say that abcmouse.com is geared more towards elementary. It starts out with preschool, and then I think it goes to second or third right now.
It just added second.
And so the next thing to jump to would be Starfall. I use that when I taught, and it's a great resource for upper elementary grades, and I think some middle school. So make sure to check that one out too.
And we'll put a link in the description below for that as well. So resource number 3. We touched on it just a little bit earlier, but the Bible and little devotionals. And the Bible has so many stories in it, and it covers all different topics from history to life lessons to cause and effect, physics and science and math. It's all in here, but you don't have to just read the story, and which is good in and of itself. It's God's word, but you can expound upon it and actually have school interactions on top of it, and we do a lot of that.
All right, number 4, paper plates. Guys, get some paper plates. Did you know that a paper plate is not just a paper plate? It could be turned into an airplane or
Mask.
Yeah. So always have a paper plate on hand. I use them a lot, along with some other resources that I'll tell you about in a different video. Okay, so this paper plate airplane did not come from just, hey, we're gonna get some paper plates out and do art. No, it came from a lesson about the Wright brothers. So it wasn't just here's a paper plate and make a creative project. It was actually let's see if we can build an airplane.
Yeah, the paper plates, we end up cutting them into fractions. We make sailboats, paper planes, you name it, all sorts of things, but almost caterpillars or butterflies. It seems like not a day goes by that I receive a text message with a picture of a paper plate that's been turned into something based on number 5.
All right, number 5 is books. We use a lot of books, but I use them for a purpose. The books that the boys read, I try to make sure we key into what the theme of that book is, or different projects that we do.
What is hot? Hot dog is hot. A fire is hot. More logs pop. A hot pot.
Dude read this one today.
My feet are hot. My wife is hot. But, okay, so this is just the closest book to me. What is hot? And Jen has a pretty amazing way of going through here, pretty much any book that the kids read, and then turning it into a lesson. And, whether that's, what is hot? A fire is hot. And then let's go make a fire. No, that's something that I would be doing.
That's fine.
But she probably wouldn't pick that one. But my feet are hot.
So the one I would probably pick, guys, is it talks about rain. How rain is not hot. So then we would compare something that's hot and something that's not hot. But then the rain I would make into like a weather lesson also.
And then cut a paper plate into raindrops.
Correct.
All right, it's time for 5 bonus. That's 10.
Oh.
5 bonus reasons why we homeschool. Reason number 1, I don't think we need to elaborate on this, but to minimize exposure to inappropriate behavior and stuff.
So number 2 is to teach them to learn and not just to regurgitate those random facts that they have to know to pass a test.
So bonus reason number 3 is better social exposure. As a homeschool family, growing up myself and even now, we always got the question, how do you ever socialize? What about interacting with other kids? And the truth is, to some extent, you are home and away from other kids a lot. But when your kids are with other children, they're not forced to be with kids the exact same age and the exact same maturity, or in many cases, lower maturity levels. They're able to interact with kids 1, 2, 4 years younger than them, 5, 6 years older than them, adults. They're able to interact with everyone all along the spectrum, grandparents. There's no limit to who your kid can interact with. In a government school, a private school, your kid is going to be with kids their exact age and the teacher, and that's it. The kids aren't really even allowed to interact with the kids while in school. Maybe in the hallway, but that's about it.
Yeah, they are told to be quiet, walk in the hallway with their hands behind their back. Lunchtime, they can talk, but it has to be a whisper. And that's just the kids that are in their class. The only free time they have to talk to kids is at recess, which is like 15 minutes. All right, bonus fact number 4 is teaching kids what we believe in our home. Not having them taught evolution or things that we don't agree with, and then having to fight the school system on why we don't want our kids to learn that information.
Bonus number 5 comes from permaculture. It's the prime directive, and it is that the only ethical decision is for one to take responsibility for themselves and for that of their children. Now, from a Christian perspective, we don't believe necessarily that the only ethical decision is to take responsibility for yourself, but that concept definitely rings true in that as a parent, and this is actually a biblical truth, our responsibility is to take care of our children. Our children have been given to us by God, not to the government school system.
Right, and we are to train them up in the way of the Lord.
That's right. And so we feel like our home is the best place for our children to learn and to live and to be the majority of their time. Outside of homeschooling, they're going to be gone more than they are here, and they will see the teacher and their immature peers more than they will see their family. Guys, thank you all so much for joining us on this video and making it this far. We rambled quite a bit, but
Sorry.
That's just the way it's going to be. Thank you so much to the Texas boys for inviting us to be part of this collaboration. Definitely, please, in the description below and the card right here, check out the playlist. Last time we looked, I think there were 6 other channels in there that were doing this. They've got awesome feedback as well. I want to let you know Jen is going to be taking a deep dive into homeschooling here on East Texas Homestead, and we're still going to be doing the homesteading videos, but she's going to join in and start cranking out videos about exactly what we've talked about here, but really elaborating on them and giving much more insight into how we teach. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're into this sort of thing. And we would love to see you on the next video right over here.
Thanks, y'all.
Hey guys, it's Eric
And Jen.
from East Texas Homestead, and we're going to give you... See, I already screwed it up. Okay. And we're going to give you 10 reasons why we homeschool and 5 tips on how to do it. Okay. Grab your coffee and a biscuit because we're going to be here all night.
I'm sorry, gotta get my laughing out. Okay.